You decide not to check your phone. 10 seconds later, it is already in your hand. That is not proof that you are weak. It is evidence that the decision may have happened before you noticed it. A familiar place, feeling, or time of day quietly pressed play. Your brain launched a routine that had worked before, while conscious thought arrived late and claimed responsibility. So stop trying to smash a bad habit with willpower alone. Here are 5 practical ways to change what happens next, based on what habit research can actually support. First, map the cue. Habits are often linked to stable contexts: where you are, what time it is, who is nearby, what just happened, and how you feel. For 3 days, do not begin by fighting the routine. Become a detective. Each time it appears, record the location, time, emotion, people, and immediately preceding action. Perhaps the sofa cues scrolling, finishing dinner cues a snack, opening a difficult document cues email. The trigger may be less obvious than the behavior it produces. Then ask what the routine delivers immediately: relief, stimulation, a tiny sense of completion. Habits repeat because some short-term reward arrives, even when the long-term result is unwanted. You are not collecting evidence to shame yourself. You are debugging a loop. Cue, routine, immediate reward. Once that loop is visible, you can alter its components. Second, redesign the environment. A sincere promise made in the morning often meets the same phone, cupboard, sofa, and notifications waiting in the evening. Make the unwanted action slightly harder. Charge the phone outside the bedroom. Log out of the distracting app. Put the snack somewhere inconvenient instead of at eye level. At the same time, make the preferred response easier. Leave the book open. Put walking shoes by the door. Prepare water before the craving or tiredness arrives. If this practical approach is already more useful than another motivational lecture, subscribe. We make evidence-led explainers that finish with something you can genuinely test. Third, replace the response instead of merely suppressing it. Telling yourself not to think about the habit can keep the habit mentally active, especially when you are stressed or distracted. Choose a small alternative that answers the same cue and offers a compatible reward. If stress cues scrolling for relief, try a 2-minute walk, breathing break, or message to a friend. The replacement must be specific and easy enough to perform in the real moment. A grand new lifestyle is not a response. One action you can start in seconds is: fourth, write an if-then plan. Vague intentions require a fresh decision under pressure. An implementation intention makes the decision earlier when you can think clearly. Use this form. If a specific cue happens, then I will perform a specific replacement. If I sit on the sofa after dinner, then my phone goes on the shelf and I make tea. If I avoid a difficult task by opening email, then I close the inbox and work on the document for 2 minutes. The cue becomes an instruction for the new route. Fifth, repeat in a stable context and expect variation. The famous 21-day rule is not a scientific deadline. Automaticity develops at different rates for different people and behaviors. In one study of people forming simple health behaviors, the average was about 66 days, with estimates ranging widely. That does not mean every habit needs 66 days. It means repetition matters more than an arbitrary countdown. One missed opportunity did not erase progress in that study, so a lapse is useful information, not a total reset. Here is a 7-day experiment. On days 1 to 3, record the cue and immediate reward without demanding perfection. Look for one repeating situation. On day 4, add one piece of friction to the unwanted routine and remove one piece of friction from a small replacement response. On day 5, write your if-then sentence. On days 6 and 7, run the experiment and record what happened, especially when the plan failed. Failure tells you whether you misidentified the cue, chose a replacement that was too difficult, or ignored the reward the old routine was providing. This framework is for ordinary habits. Addiction, obsessive-compulsive symptoms, eating disorders, and behaviors involving self-harm deserve qualified professional support, not a generic productivity trick. You do not need to become a different person overnight. You need to notice which cue keeps pressing play, then give that cue a better response to launch. The next time the phone appears in your hand, replace "what is wrong with me" with a more useful question: what pressed play, and what would I like it to play instead? Save this video for your 7-day experiment and subscribe if you want more practical, evidence-led ways to understand the machinery behind everyday behavior.